to The Common Guru. I'm Jax, and today we're going to look at the next question in our series of A New Year, A New Way. And today's a big one for me. It's, do you feel envy with other people's success? That has been, I would say that my relationship with envy has been the most controlling, frustrating, dysfunctional relationship of my life. I have battled with it so much. I don't have envy for people's success if they have won an achievement academically or through sports or something like that. In fact, I usually cry of tears of joy for them, for I've seen their hard work and I want to congratulate them on that work. But when it comes to financial success, totally different story. Totally different story. I seethe inside and I become like the Hulk, or I don't get necessarily angry, but I'm so upset that why can't this happen for me, and why does my financial life have to suck so much? I remember when my oldest son was just born and we were part of this mom's group. And again, at that time of my life, my finances were poor and we were struggling to figure out where we were going to have the money for what we were going to do. And she had more money than she knew what to do with. They were so frivolous with their money, and it rubbed me the wrong way, but that was the way it was until they won a $10,000 sweepstakes to shop at this local mall. And that local mall had enough stores in it that it could help us with a lot of things. They were talking to me about these ridiculous things that they needed to buy because they had everything that they needed. And I was seething. I was so upset. And I would sit there and I'd want to scream at her when she was talking to me about, I want this thing or I want that thing. And I was drooling at the mouth of what I could do with the money, and I'd shake my fists at the sky. I'm like, why is this happening to me? And why can't I win stuff like that? And it was a terrible time. Fast forward a couple of years, and I had a fellow coworker, and she was a beautiful woman inside and out. And she had married a gentleman that made good money, very good money, and he worked overseas. And she was successful in her 9-to-5 job. And she was also had this lucrative marketing business on the side. And she would talk to me about the things that she had to do with her house, and they had almost had it paid off. And how she had this method where they only paid cash for things, and they could do that. And I was like, cash? I was caught in that credit card cycle where you use your credit card because you don't have the money because you're paying your credit card, and it was just horrendous. And I remember her telling me stories about what they were going to do to renovate their home, or what trip they were going to go on, or what gadget she was going to buy. And she was one of those people that I looked up to because as someone that I wanted to be like fiscally, but inside I would be so upset. And there were times that I have to turn away and just do my work, and the tears would come running down my face because I just was eaten up with this envy, because it was like, why can't I have this life? Over the holidays, my boys and I watched one of our favorite animated films called The Emperor's New Groove. And one of the main characters there is Kronk, and I just love him. He's funny. And one of the scenes in there really impacted me, and that's where he's sitting down and he's given orders to get rid of the Emperor Kuzco, and he has his shoulder angels come up, and you know who those guys are. You know, the angel on this side that tells you the path of righteousness, and the devil on this side that tells you what you really want to feel like doing, but you know that the consequences aren't going to be necessarily the best for you. And I was sitting there laughing at the scene until I had some quiet time by myself, and I had a very similar scene happen for me. I was whining to myself about my financial situation. And right now, again, I'm in a situation where my finances absolutely suck. And I was going through that whole thing again because 2 new women have come into my life that I admire, respect, and love deeply. One lost her job, but because she was so fiscally responsible, she has enough savings that she didn't even have to worry about her unemployment benefits. And I'm like, are you serious? That actually happens with people? And the other one is a woman who has academically done exactly what she's she could reach the pinnacles of her career, and she has done great things with herself, and she's impacted a lot of people and made a lot of money doing that. And again, my first response to these people was, oh, like, why am I constantly surrounded by all these successful people? Not realizing that that's actually what I want, and the universe is giving me what I want and showing me live examples of how I could get there, and that they were a gift. At the time, I didn't realize that they were a gift. So I'm having this conversation with my shoulder angels. The angel on this side is being quiet while the one's going through that whole rant about how I'm the victim and my life sucked, and on and on. So then my shoulder angel speaks up and says, can you honestly say that you've always had financial difficulty? And of course I wanted to go through, yes, I was raised in a family of financial difficulty, and I could go off on a list of all this stuff where I had financial difficulty. But then, when you actually take an honest look at yourself and the truth comes out, there was these times when I had these windfalls, and there were also these times in my life when I was fiscally responsible and I lost my fiscal responsibility and my approach and my accountability, and I also did not handle the windfalls of money that came in. So this resounding message came to me, well, how, if I was a teenager, and say, for instance, the universe was my parent, and I was asking for more money and more responsibility, but I couldn't take care of the areas of my life right now where I was supposed to be fiscally responsible. How was I supposed to be granted more responsibility when I wasn't being responsible with what I was given? Whop! And I was sat there mortified, absolutely mortified, because there was my answer. So I made the decision, again, another decision, to take a good look at my fiscal responsibility and how I was saving my money, which I wasn't. As soon as I had any money dropped into my wallet or dropped into my bank account, it was spent. I had lists of how I was going to spend my money way before I earned it. And I realized that I wasn't saving money. And when I was listening to one of the excerpts from The Law of Success, it has a whole chapter on how it's important to pay yourself first and save. So that's what I'm doing now. And of course, it's kind of hard to save when you're living on absolutely nothing. And my unemployment benefits are going to run out soon. And I'm having a difficult time. And it feels like sometimes that I'm trying to turn the Titanic, and there's this huge ship that went through this one mindset and this one behavior pattern. But I'm determined that I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to lead a successful life. And that is the cure to the envy. Actually make my life successful. Because then if I am living a life of success, I can be happy for others who are living a life of success, and I no longer have to feel that sick, upsetting feeling down deep when other people are financially successful around me. So I hope you enjoyed this response to our question series. Tomorrow we're going to take a new look at a new question, and that question is, do you devote more time to thinking about success or failure? I already feel I know the answer to that one, but stay tuned tomorrow to my response, and you can take a look down in our description box to find more ways to connect with the Common Guru. You can find our written version of this question on our Steemit blog, as well as the rest of the questions in this series. There's also a few other articles there that you might enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe to our page, and I really enjoy spending this time with you, and I look forward to our next question. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.